Welcome to Foundations in Grails. I'm Mike Kelly. In this video, we're going to learn how to install Grails on the Windows platform. For best results, you'll want to watch this video in full screen mode, which you can do by clicking here. Also, if you have the available bandwidth, you'll want to put the video in HD mode so that the computer screens are nice and clear. The requirements for installing Grails are first that you have a Java Developers Kit version 1.6 or higher. We'll get that from the java.com website. Also, of course, you'll need Grails. We'll get that off of the Grails.org website, and we'll be installing the latest release of version 2.2. So with that in mind, let's head over to our Windows machine and install Grails. So this is a stock Windows 7 machine. The only thing I've done to it is installed Chrome, because our viewer stats show that that is the most popular browser amongst our viewers. And the first thing I want to do is download all of the install files that I'm going to need. The first install file I'll get is for Java, and I'll just get that off of the java.com website. There's a button here for free Java download, and that's not the one that you want to use because this will just download the Java virtual machine. And that's the plugin for your browser, and it allows you to run Java classes from your PC, but it doesn't have the tools that you need to write and compile Java classes. So scroll down to the bottom of the page and click on the developers link, and right here it will take you to a link for the Java Developers Kit. So we'll click that, and then you get to choose your version. Now, whether or not you want to use Java version 6 or Java version 7, you'll want to make sure that you get the latest update of that version, because Oracle has very recently patched several security issues with Java. So get the latest release of whichever one you choose. Make sure you download the JDK as opposed to the Java runtime environment. Then on the page that opens, you'll just need to accept the license agreement and then choose the version for your particular platform. Now, of course, we are on Windows. You'll need to know whether you are running Windows 32-bit or Windows 64-bit. And if you don't happen to know that offhand, just go to your Start button, choose Computer, right-click on it, and go to Properties. And right down here on the system type, it'll tell you I happen to be running a 32-bit virtual machine. So I'm going to download the 32-bit version of the Java Developers Kit. I'll click on that, and I'll give it a moment for the file to download. Then once you have your file downloaded, I'm just going to drag it onto my desktop so it's going to be easy to find later. Then I'll grab the second set of files that I need, which are the Grails libraries, and I'll just get that off of the Grails.org website. And these are really easy to find. Just right off of the home page, we click on the Download Grails button. And the latest release is Grails 2.2.1, so I'll just grab that file. And with that file downloaded, I'll also move that onto the desktop. Okay, so those are the two files I need to install my Grails environment. I'm going to start with Java first, so I'll just double-click on the install file. And it's a very easy install. You basically just click Next and accept all the defaults along the way. So I'll choose Next here, Next for the location, and go ahead and let it install. Okay, one more Next here. And we're good to go. We'll click Close. And it's going to go ahead and just open up a registration page. For this video, I'll go ahead and close that. And we're all set on the Java side. Now for the Grails libraries, there is no installation file. Basically all you have to do is unzip the files inside of here. And so I want to create a nice place to put those. So I'll go to my computer, and I'm going to put all of my Grails files into a working directory right off the root of my C drive called Grails. So I'll create that subdirectory, and then I'm going to put the libraries right inside of there. So I'll double click on the zip file. There are the libraries for Grails 2.2.1. So all I have to do is drag that right inside my subdirectory and let those uncompress. Alright, and once that's all uncompressed, I can see that inside my Grails folder I now have my Grails libraries. Alright, so now we've got both of those installed. And if you're going to follow along in the Foundations in Grails course, we'll be using the Groovy Grails tool suite to do all of our development, and there'll be some additional configuration that we'll cover in the next video. But before we leave, I want to make sure that we have the command line environment configured for both Java and Grails, since many developers also use that. So to make our command line environment aware of both Java and Grails, we need to set up what are called environment variables. And the way we do that is just go into our Start menu, right-click on the computer, and go to Properties. Then we choose Advanced System Settings, and we've got our environment variables down here at the bottom. So what we want to do is create two environment variables that show where each of those environments are installed. So let me start with Java. I'll click New, and the variable name is Java_home, and that's in all caps. And then the variable value is the path to the directory where our Java libraries are installed. Now I could type all that out, but it's a pretty lengthy path. So instead, let me just go and browse for it. It's under my C drive. It went into Program Files, whether you're on 32 or 64-bit Windows, and it's under Java. So we've got our runtime environment here and our JDK here, and the Java Developers Kit is the path that we want to include. So I'll open that, and it's got the path listed up here. If I click on this folder, it will convert that to an actual path that I can copy with a Control-C and then just paste it right in here. Okay, so there is our Java home variable, and I'm going to do the same thing for Grails. So I'll click New. The name of the variable you need to type is Grails_home, again in all caps. And this time the path is pretty easy to type. It's just C:\\Grails\, and then the name of the Grails directory, which is Grails-2.2.1 in our case. Click OK there. And then there's one other variable that we need to modify, which is the path. And when you're in the command line, the path tells Windows where to look for executable files. So we're just going to edit this as opposed to create a new one. I'll go to the very end of what's there already, and we'll add a path for both Java and for Grails. So to separate those, I start with a semicolon, and instead of typing in the entire path, which needs to also include the bin directory, which is underneath each of the install variables that we just created, I'm just going to type in the name of each home variable, and it will recognize that for the path. So to have it recognize a system variable, you just enclose it in %signs. So I say %Java_home, and then \bin. So that's where the actual libraries are stored within that Java home directory. I'll put a semicolon there and then do the same thing for Grails. So %Grails_home, \bin. So now our command line is all set up. I'm just going to exit out of everything here. Okay, so everything's installed. What I'd like to do is just do a few tests to make sure that everything that I've configured for the installation is correct. And I'll do that through the Windows command line. I'll just click on my Start button, and in the search bar I'll type in CMD and run that. You'll notice that my prompt is not pointing to either the Java or the Grails directory. So this will be a good test, because when I type in these commands, the command line will have to know where to find both environments. So first I'm going to test out Java, and the best way to do that is just use the command java -version, and it brings up the version of Java that I'm running. So as you can see, just like we installed, I'm running Java version 1.7.0, update 17. You do the same thing for Grails. Just type in Grails -version, and it comes back showing us that we're running Grails version 2.2.1. So great, it knows where to find everything, and we know that everything is set up correctly. Well, one last thing I'd like to do is ensure that the Grails installation is actually working correctly, and so I want to create a sample application. To do that, I'm going to move into the working directory for Grails that I created earlier, which is off the root directory of my C drive in the Grails subdirectory. So to create a Grails application, you start by typing in the command Grails, And then what we specifically want to do is create-app. That tells it to build a new application, followed by a space, and then the name of the application you want to create. And I'm just going to call mine Demo. Press Enter. And one thing it's going to do is copy a bunch of the libraries from the master Grails directory into my application subdirectory. And once it's done doing that, it says that it's created the Grails application. And it created a specific subdirectory with the same name of the application that I told it to create. And now I want to run that application. So to do so, I'll change directories into my application subdirectory. And I use the Grails command, followed by a space. And this time I just say run-app. Now it's going to move some more of the core files down into my application directory, and it's going to start up the Grails environment, which is going to include a web server, a Java application server, and our database environment. The first time that you run a Grails application, the Windows firewall will ask you if you want to allow some network access to Java, so just say allow access here. And then when it's all done, it will say that the server is running. And what we should be able to do is open up a browser and go to this URL. So let me open up Chrome. And the URL we want to go to is http://localhost, which is this machine here, :8080, which is the IP port that the Grails dispatcher is running on, /demo, which is the name of our application. And with everything working correctly, we get this Grails homepage, which basically just says, welcome to Grails, everything's been installed correctly. And on the left, it gives us a list of all of the Grails components and plugins that are running. So again, we can just double check here. We can see that our Grails version is 2.2.1. and our Java virtual machine is running on 1.7.0 update 17. Okay, so everything is working great and looking good here. At this point, we're ready to begin development on our applications. If you're going to be continuing on with the Foundations in Grails course, I recommend that you watch the next video, which shows you how to set up the Groovy and Grails tool suite.